Hi, welcome to Muzzle First. Today we're going to clean the magazine on my Sig P250. This is the P250C, the compact version. So we don't really need anything special other than the magazine. We're going to put the gun aside. I'm not going to use that at the moment. I'm going to use a couple things here. I'm going to use some hops number 9, just some patches. I'm going to use this scraper, but I'm not really going to, well, I'll show you what I'm going to do with it here in a minute. I'm just going to use a towel, alright? There's actually more stuff than you really need to clean it, but, so it's really simple to take these apart. These Sig magazines come apart real easy. All that you have to do is, you can see a little button on the bottom. We're just going to depress that, and then we're just going to slide it forward. But you notice I'm going to keep my thumb right here over the back of the magazine. This is the floor plate. This is the magazine body. Inside of the magazine body is the spring. I'm going to catch that spring. There we go. And just pull it out. Alright? So you can see there's quite a bit of debris here. See if the light can pick up the brass shavings. That's what that shiny stuff is right there. It's brass shavings. Copper and brass. And you can already see I'm getting kind of dirty just taking it apart. So, see if I can get a picture. There we go. Yeah, you can kind of, you can get an idea of how dirty this thing really is on the inside here. So, as a general rule, if you have any kind of feeding issues with your magazines, it's always a good idea to just wash them out. Just clean them. So, I'm going to clean it with some hops. You can use whatever cleaner you like to use, or you can use no cleaner on them. You don't necessarily have to use cleaner. You can just wipe them down. That's perfectly acceptable. Alright. I'm just going to take this cleaner and I'm just going to chase it up and down this spring here. One thing I will mention is that you notice I do not have any oil on my workbench right here that I'm using. I'm not going to put oil inside this, and I'm going to leave the inside of it dry. So when I put it back together, I'm going to make sure that I get all of this hops cleaned out of here. I'm not going to leave it in there. Anything left inside the magazine will just attract dirt. There's only a couple magazines that really want to be wet on the inside a little bit of lubricant, and most magazines you do not want to lubricate them. So as you can see, it's pretty dirty. Got quite a bit of stuff coming off here. Not sure just how many rounds I have on this Sig. A couple thousand rounds, but not really that much. Not for a Sig. It's going to go a lot further than that. Alright, so I am getting quite a bit of junk off of here. This is why you clean your magazines. As you can see, I started off with clean towels. So like I said, if you ever run into problems where you're having feeding issues, clean the magazine. Do that first, unless you see something obvious. But if you're just looking for why that you're having a feeding issue, try cleaning the magazine, especially if you've not cleaned it in a while. They're easy to clean. They're really not that difficult to take apart. There are some magazines that are not meant to come apart, but most of them you can just pop them apart. Alright, here. I'm just going to see if I can work this wet towel down in here without removing the spring off of the floor plate here. Well, I may have to. If you have, this is one of these areas where if you have compressed air handy, and I don't have compressed air here at my workbench, you can hit them with compressed air, and a lot of times that will blow a lot of this loose stuff out of there. This is what the scraper is kind of made for, getting in these old tight areas. That looks a lot better, actually. Alright, let's see if we can force it down in here. Well, I shouldn't say force it down in there. Let's see if we can just get this towel to go down in here. It's a pretty small area, but I think we can push it down here and get it to work around a little bit. Alright. And lastly, what I'm going to do is I am going to run a wet towel down this magazine tube. I'm going to put a couple patches through here. I'm going to get this kind of thick because it's so I can just shove it through here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and push it along the sides, and I'll take each side one at a time. And there we go. Yeah, look at that. That's coming out. It's getting a lot of stuff out of there. And like I said, I am going to dry this afterwards too. I'm not going to leave this wet. There we go. And that was what's clung to the inside of the magazine body. Get a look in there, and there's still a little bit. It's wet, but there's still a little bit of junk in there. All right. Let's try the clean side. All right. And that looks a lot better. Let's see if we can get a picture here on the camera. There you go. So you can see we got a little bit of a shine on the metal now. It may not be completely spotless, but it's a lot better than it was. All right. And lastly, we're just going to wipe this little piece out here. And make sure everything's dry, and we'll put it back together. Yeah, this is the reason I used hops on this, because I was looking at the inside of this magazine, well, this magazine body, and it looked pretty cruddy in there. So sometimes you get that burned powder and that residue that a dry towel just will not remove. All right, that looks pretty good. So we're just going to put this back together. You notice there's a natural cant to the follower on that. I think Sig calls these a feeder. They got a different name for it than a follower. I think they call these a feeder. I've always referred to them as a follower. And most everybody I know has always called them a follower. But Sig made it, so I guess they can call it whatever they want. Alright, so basically I'm just going to compress this. And you might need to put it against something solid so you can use both hands to hold this down. Just compress the spring. And we're going to take the floor plate and just slide it on. You notice there's little lips right here. We're just going to slide it over it so it gets on those lips. There we go. So it snapped back in place. Alright. That's all there is to it. If you got any questions, you can email me at muzzlefirst@gmail.com. I do have a full diagram on my website of the parts for the Sig P250 and the magazine. Leave a comment below if you've got any comments. Like the video, subscribe. Thank you. You have a good day.